Welcome back, Fantasy Endgame family. It is the eve of the end of Week 15, and hopefully not the end of the playoffs for any of you. You still have 2 games to decide your fate tonight if you have any players left. We'll see what happens. If you have some questions, tough decisions, or you just want to know if you're going to pull through, we're here to give you the truth. I was going to say hope, but we're going to give you the truth. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We'll tell you what we think, but you never know what's going to happen. And we saw that once again. Fantasy football remains as unpredictable as ever in Week 15. I think, first of all, I should, again, for anyone who happens to not be a regular viewer on Monday, introduce our guy Keith down at the bottom there. How's it going, Keith?
I wish my fantasy teams were doing a little bit better, but otherwise, pretty good.
Yeah, that's a feeling that a lot of us get. But your teams definitely did better than mine because I don't really have much skin left in the game in terms of playoffs. Chris, how did your teams do?
Well, we were just talking about it. Ran into some buzzsaws, but I think I might be advancing the team that Keith and I are playing in. We'll see. We still got to sweat tonight, though. We still got to sweat. It's always a sweat. Whenever there's players left, it's always a sweat. You just never know.
Yeah, with 2 games on Monday, that makes even more opportunity to sweat. Not amazing offenses going tonight necessarily, but still some fantasy friendly players, and still one player can make all the difference. So some of those buzzsaws you talked about, thankfully Mike Evans came back to life and in a pretty big way. But I think the guy that is basically just sawing through teams at will single-handedly is Josh Allen. We just talked about this. We just assume it's going to be a wide receiver or a running back, like maybe Saquon Barkley. But no, it might be a quarterback who carries fantasy teams. Is Josh Allen, if he can do that against the Lions and what he's done the last 2 weeks, he's just going to carry fantasy teams on his back? Is that what's going to happen here?
Certainly could. I mean, Josh Allen has got a very, very soft schedule rest of season. 2 matchups against the Patriots, 1 against the Jets. They're not going to be able to stop him. There's no chance. If anything, Josh Allen might carry a slight risk of maybe taking a back seat after blowing the Patriots and the Jets out in 3 quarters. But other than that, I mean, this guy is definitely for QB fantasy MVP.
Yep, it's looking that way. And one of my matchups, super flex matchup, and we have a really good team. I didn't think our opponent's team was that good, to be honest, when I looked at it. But he had Josh Allen, and I said, man, I am terrified. I'm like legitimately terrified that Josh Allen is going to single-handedly beat us. And I wouldn't say he single-handedly beat us, but it was pretty much him and Brian Thomas Jr. that beat us. Like, it's not very often I look at a QB, even in Superflex, I don't even look at a QB and think like, man, this guy could beat us. But Josh Allen, I mean, if you're playing against Josh Allen, I think you're just terrified. This guy, I mean, he's basically a quarterback and a running back in the same guy, right? He can get 100 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, throw for 200 plus yards, 2 to 3 passing touchdowns. I mean, got to be the most terrifying guy to face in fantasy right now, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah, and like you said, Keith, that schedule now starts to get easy, just now, which is kind of scary. Although you wonder, will he have to do as much? Will he, go out there and be running as much? But we'll see. But at the big headline, I think for a lot of teams that, of course, when you lose, you look at the guy who didn't go off on your team, and there were a lot of studs turned duds. Of course, the running backs who brought you and carried you on your back to the playoffs, then let you off and said, all right, I'm done. See you later. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Chuba Hubbard, even if you want to count him as a potential league winner, guys like that. This is fantasy football, but I mean, Chris, do you think that guys who, again, the story all year was how are these veteran running backs with so many carries under their belt, how are they doing this? Do you think that the wear and tear is hitting them now? Is that what it is? Is this age catching up to them?
I think it could be a little bit of that. I don't think it's the case for that for Saquon. Saquon did run into a very tough Steelers defense, and of course he did miss, a decent amount of that game with an injury. So I think that was just kind of like an unfortunate combination for Saquon of running into a really good defense and also getting banged up. But when I look at guys like Mixon, Henry, even Kamara, who really hasn't been like phenomenal for a while here. In fact, I talked about it on the panic video. He hasn't gone over 17 PPR points in 5 straight games. So sure, that catch was spectacular, but it took a pass from Cedric Wilson for Kamara to really do anything yesterday. I do wonder if we're starting to see these guys wear down a little bit and slow down, because Mixon has not looked nearly as good as he looked earlier in the year. Like, the volume is still there, the touchdown upside is still there, but doesn't look good. I will say, though, like, I'll say the one guy who still looks good is Josh Jacobs, as far as, I guess, the vet running backs with a lot of touches. But yeah, that's just fantasy, right? Like, the guys who carried you all season long decide in the most important week to no show.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wonder whether or not it might be just some of these teams are gearing up for a playoff push and taking it a little easy, going a little bit lax when they can. But yeah, Saquon himself, I mean, he went down with an injury, was out for about a half. And we saw the Eagles kind of revitalize themselves in the passing game. We saw both A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith go over 100 yards and score. Both had great fantasy games. So I think that kind of explains Saquon a bit. The other guys, yeah, I do think it's a bit of mileage, a bit of wear and tear, and a bit of just kind of letting off the gas a little bit so they can be rested and ready for the playoffs. And Jacobs is a little bit younger than the rest of those guys. Like, he's younger than Henry. He's younger than Joe Mixon. Yeah. So I think he's got a bit more juice left in him. And not to mention, I mean, the Packers defense looked pretty good last night as well. So they're a team that can absolutely just grind you down and just have Jordan Love not throw so much.
Yeah, Jordan Love really just hasn't needed to throw very much at all this year, which is unfortunate if you've invested in Jordan Love or any of those receivers. But it's good you got Jacobs. But let's talk also a team that did have to throw a lot last night, but also running back you cannot count on at all for sure anymore is David Montgomery. So in that Bills-Lions game, and I didn't hear about this until this morning, so I don't know if there was anything that came out late last night about it, but apparently he's done for the regular season at least, done for the fantasy season for sure, because he's going to miss this week and probably next week, if not all the regular season.
He's done for 2024. He's having surgery.
Oh, is that official? Last time I saw, they were like, this is David Chat regular season. So that's it. He's done. Man.
Done.
All right. So it's easy to say, yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs, great. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, you were probably starting anyways. What do you do if you're a Monty owner, first of all, here, besides panic? And what does this mean for the Lions in general? I mean, they got basically, even though the score looks like it was close, they basically, got served last night by the Bills early on. How much panic is there in Detroit, especially with all those injuries?
I don't worry about them so much for fantasy, but in real life, you got to be. I'd be shocked if the Lions make a deep run. I mean, just way too many injuries, way too many. This defense is it's like right there with the Bengals now. Is like just can't stop anything, can't stop anybody. So yeah, I think like sure the offense can maybe keep them in games, but man, I mean. Can they beat a team like the Eagles? Can they even beat a team like the Vikings right now? Could they beat the Packers if they played again right now? I don't know, because man, just so banged up here. So it's unfortunate because the Lions look like maybe this was their year, but now it looks like maybe it's not their year.
Yeah, the defense is definitely decimated with injuries. This is a team that's reminding me a lot of the Bengals right now, where you can just constantly score points on them. Their defense isn't going to be able to hold really anybody, especially a good, strong offense, really. As far as fantasy implications, if anything, this might be, unless you're a Monty owner, I think you got to be somewhat more excited for Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. I think they're going to be called upon and need to score a bit more going forward. But yeah, if you've got Monty, it's time to go looking on waivers, and I would not count on Craig Reynolds to save you. I'd be looking for other options if at all possible.
Yeah, which I mean, on the one hand, if you are, let's say, in the semis or something in the playoffs, maybe less competition, right? There shouldn't be that many teams looking on the waiver wire to pick up players. Maybe some leagues have that rule where it's like you're out of it. You don't do that. You don't pick up players, but not every league is like that. But man, it's tough. We had almost gone a full season without too many major RB injuries, and it's like now they're piling up. Okay,
Yep.
wait till the playoffs. Thank you, fantasy gods. And that includes Alvin Kamara. So what I saw is a groin abductor area type injury, which sounds painful and doesn't make me feel too hopeful for his availability this week. But also, one thing I mentioned in the waiver video is, if you're the Saints, like why bother? Like what just shut them down, right? We can shut down guys like Evan Ingram and in Jacksonville. Why can't we just shut down Kamara? What are they playing for, really? I know Darren Rizzi's coaching to win to try to prove that he deserves to be a head coach, whatever. But isn't this a smart thing to do with your veteran running back that you just signed to a contract extension, is just to let him rest it out? I mean, do you think Kamara will be done for the season?
I mean, that's a smart thing to do, but I don't feel like that's because we talk about this a lot. Like people ask, like, "Oh, they're eliminated. Are they going to sit everybody?" I don't feel like that's what NFL teams do, and I don't feel like that's how NFL teams think. And I don't think that's how players think either. A lot of times, like I think players think like, "Hey, I'm good enough. I can play. I want to play," and then teams are going to be like, "Okay, go play." That being said, I think you got to be worried. I don't know if like he might miss this week. But I think you got to be more worried about the fact that it's a groin injury, which probably going to limit his effectiveness when he already wasn't looking nearly as effective as he had earlier in the year. And B, you got to worry about Kendre Miller. Kendre Miller looks good. Kendre Miller is earning touches. And unlike Dennis Allen, who hated Kendre Miller, Rizzi is actually talking up Kendre Miller. So I don't think Alvin Kamara is a no doubt must start running back, even if he plays this week, honestly.
I agree. The one thing with Alvin Kamara is if he is questionable, he plays Monday, so that may limit options if you have Kamara on your team. But that said, I am very much a fan of Kendre Miller. I think he is a guy to own. I think if I am a Monty owner, Kendre Miller would probably be one of my top waiver claims, depending on your league settings. But I think the potential is there. And as far as shutting Alvin Kamara down, I don't think the Saints are eliminated from the playoffs just yet. The NFC South is not exactly a division loaded with talent. So the Saints technically may be still alive as far as a playoff chase is concerned. They'll need help, but I don't see him throwing the towel in on Alvin Kamara until that happens. But I mean, to your point about Alvin Kamara, like teams not resting their guys, it would make a little bit of sense for them to rest Kamara just because he is on the older side. If they've got nothing to play for, maybe it makes sense to shut him down while he's banged up. But I don't see that happening until officially the Saints are out of the playoffs, and I don't think they are just yet.
Yeah, I guess I just assume that they are out of the playoffs because I'm sure there's some hypothetical situation. I basically just assume they're eliminated. Like I know the Dolphins technically could make in my mind, they're done. They're done. You had your chance, you blew it. But that's me as a cynical Dolphin fan. But I mean, we'll see. Like you said, Chris, if even if Kamara is active this week, I wouldn't feel good whatsoever. I still think Kendre Miller, regardless, is probably your top RB claim. If you need a running back, which now all of a sudden you might need a running back. And speaking of the Dolphins, Jalen Waddle, I guess I could have just said, go ahead and cut him. I didn't put him on the cut list, even though I was tempted. I mean, is there a reason to hold on to Jalen Waddle? He's hurt, not serious. He's not done for the year, even though the Dolphins, let's just say it again, they're basically done for the year. Is a guy like this worth holding on to?
I don't think so. I mean, if come on, he just didn't he just drop a 0 on you like after being a bust pretty much all year? Yeah, if I somehow am still alive with Waddle, like I'm not going to drop him for nothing just to drop him. I mean, I guess you if you won, you probably don't need to rage drop him because you won. But like, yeah, if you're going out there to pick up like Jerome Ford, who we didn't talk about, Nick Chubb out for the season. I don't know if that's a major impact, although it does help Jerome Ford. Kendry Miller, guys like that, yeah, I will drop Waddle for them in a heartbeat. No problem.
Yeah, we're at that point where unless a guy has big time upside, like if a guy's just kind of going to be a little bit mediocre, then we're at the point in the year where if like a guy isn't adding anything to your roster and he's not contributing, it just may be time to get rid of these guys. And yeah, Waddle, I can't start him for the semifinals or finals for the fantasy playoffs. There's just no way I can trust him. Plus, I mean, we don't know the extent of this injury. Last I heard, day to day. So maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't. But their next two matchups, 49ers at Browns. We know how the Dolphins do in the cold. So, yeah, he's out for week 17 for sure. And if he plays this week, I don't want to risk his injury.
No, I mean, I don't see a compelling reason to keep him, but depends who you're going to replace him with, right? I mean, I guess we can't be as rageful with a guy like him as a guy like Debo. Some others, you can just drop Debo just to drop him. Like, that's okay. Waddle, not quite there. But let's say you want some upside. How about these guys? Trust or bust? Are you replacing one of those receivers who's basically been a bust with, let's start with Xavier Worthy, who sure scored, that'll happen, but had, I believe, 11 targets. Is that right? Team high, 11 targets. Looks great, but now Pat Mahomes might not play, which, by the way, Pat Mahomes also might not play. He's week to week, and we're not going to probably find out too much about this until later. What is the situation here? Are you going to really trust any Kansas City pass catcher? That includes Travis Kelce if Mahomes is out.
Not if Mahomes is out, no. And I really do worry because, the NFL these days has to get games on Christmas now. And even though Christmas is on a Wednesday, we're going to get NFL on Wednesday because I don't even know how the players union is allowing this. Like, how can you allow guys to play on Wednesday after they just played on the weekend? Like, how is this even allowed? But the Chiefs especially have to play Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday. Like, how is that even fair? Like, people say, oh, that's rigged for the Chiefs. Explain to me how that's rigged for the Chiefs. That is absolutely rigged against the Chiefs in every possible way. So if you're the Chiefs and you're looking at that schedule, it's like, are we really going to put Mahomes out there 3 times in 11 days with this ankle injury? So I think there is a chance we don't see Mahomes this week. And if it's Carson Wentz, no. I've done this many times with Carson Wentz. I'm not doing it again. No.
Yeah, we cannot trust Carson Wentz to keep this offense the way it is with Mahomes back then. I mean, it was already tough enough to predict who was going to go off with the Chiefs with the way Mahomes spreads the ball around. But if we're talking Carson Wentz, I don't think there's really any options outside of Kelce that I'd want to start with the Chiefs. And on top of that, they're going up against some strong opponents the next few weeks. The Chiefs do not have an easy road to the playoffs rest of the season. I'm sure they'd like to tie up the number 1 seed, but yeah, it's going to be dicey for them to do it. The Bills could take that away from them with their schedule. But yeah, for fantasy, I do not want to be trusting it. Like, it's tough enough to trust Worthy going forward because he is a rookie. He is, like, advanced stats. He's kind of just meh as a receiver. But yeah, if it's Carson Wentz, no way. Oh, Pierre, you're muted.
Yeah, even Kelce, it would be tough to trust. So I would be surprised if they didn't sit Mahomes this week, like you said, because of the turnaround. They want him there for Christmas. So it's going to be tough. But Worthy, again, he was hard to trust throughout the season anyways. I think this just kind of makes it really hard to justify starting him in the playoffs. Or what about another receiver who kind of took us by surprise? Undrafted rookie, of course. I'm talking about Jalen Coker. Did just enough to kind of throw Adam Thielen's boom game off tilt. You were basically calling this, Chris. You were worried about it. I mean, you didn't call the Coker huge game, but it's like you had to be worried. Sure enough, it happens. So, are you going to now trust Jalen Coker?
No, I'm not trusting Jalen Coker. I think what this is going to do for me is make me regret. One of these days, I will learn to not trust these fringy, old, semi-dusty, semi-not dusty guys. Yeah, it's just going to make me lower on Thielen. Like, I think Thielen is still okay, but, like, league-winning Adam Thielen probably isn't going to happen. Only 7 targets. And it wasn't just Jalen Coker. Also, Jatavion Sanders was back. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think I can't put Coker in a semifinal or whatever it's called, like, lineup. No chance.
I think I'm a little more optimistic as far as Coker is concerned. I think the big guy that this impacts, and now we're hearing he's a week-to-week injury, is Xavier Legette. I don't think he's a guy that you want to be rostering right now, at least in redraft leagues. Coker and Thielen, I think, are decent flex options, but I really wouldn't put either guy any higher than that. If I had to pick between the two, I would prefer Thielen slightly. He is, on average, getting more targets, but Coker, I think, is a risky but okay flex option.
Yeah, agree here. Basically, it makes them both flex options, and Thielen for still a floor. I mean, he still got you a floor, which is kind of what we said. He'll get you a floor, just the ceiling wasn't there, and Coker is going to be a boom bust. That's just how it's going to be. And then a guy who really kind of came out of nowhere again. Remember Tyjae Spears? Oh, yeah, he's there. What do we make of this? It's just one of these random outlier things. We know Pollard had been banged up, but he still played. He left briefly in the game, but he still was out there. He even scored a touchdown. Is this something, or is this just a lot of nothing?
For me, Spears is... I would definitely pick him up. I think he's one of the guys worth picking up if you've got an injury to Monty or they're still alive in the playoffs. I wouldn't go too crazy because this was against the Bengals, one of the worst defenses in football. But that said, Pollard is a guy that we've seen fade down the stretch and not hold up well. And Pollard did not look particularly good this past week. And we know that Tyjae Spears has great upside as far as being a pass-catching running back is concerned. So him, Ford, Miller are up, definitely worth rostering. If anything, he's up there with those 3 guys. I think I'd rank that Miller, Spears, Ford in terms of who I'd pick up in that order. With that said, I would consider Spears to be a decent flex option with upside for more, especially if we hear any injuries with Tony Pollard again. I expect he's probably going to be held out of practice Wednesday, Thursday, and probably be limited Friday and then be questionable all week like he always has been. But I think there is some definite upside here, especially if, for whatever reason, Pollard misses. If Pollard does miss, Spears is the guy on that offense and really the only guy in Tennessee I feel comfortable starting at this point.
Yeah, I think I'm trusting this sort of because I kind of agree with Keith. I think Pollard is much more injured than we know. He doesn't look quite right to me. And Spears is pretty fresh because he's hardly played this year. So, and he looks fresh and gets a great matchup this week against the Colts. So, I'm not gonna roll Spears out there with confidence this week. Hopefully you have better running back options than Tyjae Spears, but if you need an upside flex or you don't, maybe you just lost Monty and you don't have better options, I think you can roll with him. I think he at least has upside.
Yeah. The thing is involved, you're not going to rely on him getting the ball as a runner too many times because what he did basically, his damage came as a receiver, and that role should still definitely be viable. Big question will be, who's the quarterback for Tennessee next week? We're not sure yet. And speaking of quarterback, one more here. Thought you could trust Bo Nix against the Colts. It was a very mixed bag. 3 touchdowns, but very little yardage and 3 interceptions. I said this. usually after the bye, this is good for rookies. Gets them a little bump, get the week off to clear their head and rest, and plan. And it worked the opposite for Bo Nix. So what can you even trust him going forward? Let's say you're looking for a quarterback, you're still streaming, or you lost Mahomes. If he doesn't play, what's the deal here with Bo Nix?
I'd be very nervous starting Bo Nix. It's a short week. It's on the road against the Chargers. I just feel like there's too much risk here. I do regret I was a little too high on Bo Nix this week against the Colts. I definitely. Well, I mean, he didn't kill you, but he certainly did not help you win this week. So there's no teams on buys. We haven't. I mean, the quarterback injuries we're looking at are to guys that you probably weren't starting anyways, other than Mahomes, of course. So yeah, I don't want to start Bo Nix, this close to fantasy championship week. I'm gonna say no trust here, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's a 2 QB super flex guy. I do not want any part of him in a 1 QB league, especially in the matchup with the Chargers. His touchdowns bailed him out, and the reason he got those touchdowns is because the Broncos turned the ball, the Colts turned the ball over 5 times. If you're turning the ball over that much, you're going to score. So the 3 touchdowns saved his day, but the 3 picks are definitely concerning. The 135 yards is very concerning. My trust in Bo Nix is definitely at a low, and against the Chargers, who don't really make a lot of mistakes, it could be a long day for Nix.
Yeah, what's weird is he's really faltering down the stretch. His first 2 games ever starting the NFL, he had 4 interceptions. His next 10 games, Bo Nix only threw 2 interceptions total in those 10 games. And now the last 2, before the bye and after the bye, 5 interceptions. It's really bizarre. It's really bizarre how he got so good in the middle of the season. Now all of a sudden he's like reverting back to the first, like brand new quarterback, never started in the NFL before. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but something weird. I'm not going to trust him either. I don't know if you can trust Kirk Cousins. I mean, maybe for fantasy, but I will say this: there's some good news. You can trust that he'll get at least 1 yard. At least I think so. But I would take the higher on this. If you were given this free pick, Kirk Cousins, 0.5 total yards, I think I'd go higher. All right, so if he gets just 1 yard tonight, one of the Monday night games, you win this pick. And this is free for new customers on Underdog. Take the higher with Kirk Cousins, combine with any other pick. Good chance to win your very first time doing pick'ems on Underdog. And you get this along with free cash. That's right, up to $1,000 worth of bonus cash if you sign up for Underdog and use code ENDGAME. So make sure when you check out, you use that promo code to get the free pick and the bonus cash as well. Just use code ENDGAME at checkout. And before we get to your questions, because I know we do have some, I don't want to keep everybody waiting too much longer, you can also ask your questions anytime on Draft Lane. It's the app that connects you with us for all your start-sit, waiver wire trade questions, and more, anything fantasy football related. You ask us, we'll answer it. It's a free download from the App Store, the Google Play Store. So try Draft Lane now. Let's start off with Tyler C. Got two super chats. So first of all, how's it going, Tyler? In the 0.7 PPR league, had the bye. It feels pretty good.
Yeah.
This is another, not that we didn't know this already, but this was a perfect example of why you just don't want to risk it, right? You never know what's going to happen. You have a chance for a bye, you take the bye. Team put up 236 points on the bye because you had Lamar, Evans, Adams, Cook, Connor, Sun God, and Packers.
You had the nuts, other than Josh Allen. But I mean,
man, wow. Like, I don't think you could have possibly had a better lineup if you tried. I guess maybe the Bengals defense, oddly enough. Well, yeah. All right. I don't think you need help with this one. 2 receiver, 2 running back, 1 flex, 1 tight end. Got Lamar. Okay. Sun God, Evans, Adams, Jennings, D-Hop, Flowers. Cook, Connor, Pacheco, Bucky, Ertz, Muth, Lions, Packers. And then he's going against, he says, a very tough opponent.
Well, they're all tough opponents these days. They should be at least. So, obviously Lamar. I think you got to go Muth at tight end. Ertz obviously left that game early with a concussion. We don't even know if he'll play.
Right.
And they get the Eagles, so tough tight end matchup. And Muth has been really good. So Muth and Lamar. Is there a flex here? Yeah. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna go Bucky and Connor. Although I will say it's hard to bench James Cook, but man, Bucky looked good. He was actually healthy, unlike what I thought. And Connor gets Panthers. I don't think you can sit Connor this week. And then I'll probably just play Sun God, Evans, and Adams.
I'm pretty much with you. The only thing I would change on that, my RB2, I'd go Connor and Cook personally. I think Cook is due for I was going to say he had a great game this week, and I think he could even smash again this week against the Patriots. They're not going to need to do much other than just run the ball. Connor has been phenomenal, and now with Trey Benson on the shelf, Connor's looking at a massive workload rest of season. So pray to the fantasy gods he does not get hurt. And yeah, Evans, Adams, and Sun God for my receivers and flex.
Yeah, those three receivers for sure. Yeah, that's it. The dilemma. Connor's a must. There's no doubt. It's Bucky versus Cook. That one's tough. I think right now lean Cook because the Patriots' run defense has not been good. Not that the Cowboys' run defense has been good either, but I think I'm more worried about Rachaad White now, at least splitting carries with Bucky like we saw last week. And the Bucky's been good. That could go either way, though.
I think you got to go Packers. Packers at defense against the Saints.
Oh, yeah, you can't stop the Lions' defense at all. That's,
Lions, I know the fall of the Lions' defense here, yeah. They already were one of the lowest in terms of pressure rate over the last few weeks since they lost Aiden Hutchinson. That was a major loss for them. So, yeah, go Packers. All right, Tyler, well, good luck, of course. I think you got plenty of talent here, so I think you're good. I'll just say this, just totally objective here. I think your team's better than his. There you go.
I'll third that.
Yeah, right. Kelsey, no Mahomes. Yeah. Anyways,
Judy with a mystery at quarterback.
Yeah, might not have Jameis this week.
That's true. Let's hope it is. How about this? Cerulean Dog. I don't think we need to give too much hope here. He's down 10. But you got Hawk and JJ and Minnesota defense.
I think you're good. I think you got this.
Yeah, unless the Vikes defense just plays complete, just rolls over, plays dead, -7 points for you. Yeah, Jefferson should take that on his own.
What does the defense have to do to get -7? Like they have to give up 100 points?
But if they have to give up 42 points and 500 yards in most standard scoring formats,
and not get a single sack, a single turnover, nothing.
Yep, you really have to be bad at defense for that. Take the day off.
Yeah. I think you're good, Cerulean. Cody is up 57 and has Jacoby, but he's going against JJ and Addison and the Vikings defense. So what do you think about there? Obviously, there's going to be some sweat involved.
Always sweat. Probably good. I mean, even if we assume not a great game from Addison, let's say it gets you 10. You're up 70, let's say 70. I mean, or I said Jacoby. If Jacoby doesn't have a big game, let's say you're up, he gets you 13, let's say. So you're up 70. I mean, JJ Addison, even if they both go for 30, that means the defense still has to go for 10. Yeah, I think you're good here.
Yeah, 57 is a lot to ask for. This would take a massive game out of Sam Darnold here. I think with Jacoby, I think that gives you enough cushion. And the 18 left. Aaron Jones, CJ Moore. That's going to be a little more of a sweat, but I think you're going to be okay in both of these matchups.
Should be. Yeah. And, we'll say that it's not impossible because if you look at what Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson both did last week, then yeah, they could have those kind of games, but I wouldn't count on it necessarily. You should be good. Up 33 with Keenan versus Aaron Jones and DJ Moore. I mean, this comes down to which Bears receiver is going to score touchdowns, right? It's like every week, one of them is going to score 2 touchdowns, and they're just taking turns. I mean, I like Aaron Jones this week, but with 33, let's assume the Bears receivers kind of offset. You should be more than good, I would think.
Yep. Yes.
And it is official.
Consensus 2-0.
And we do have official news about Aiden O'Connell. He is out.
Yeah, Desmond Ritter's starting.
Yeah, so I'm not even counting the Jacoby points. Let's just assume that doesn't happen for you. You should get at least a couple. Yeah, all right, Cody. And then Carl is down almost 16. Opponent has Jacoby. But I got the Vikings, London, and Addison.
You're good. You're going to win this.
I think you are as well. Although also have DJ Moore on the bench. I also had this question. I was really tossing up between DJ Moore and Drake London here. I think with the amount you're down, I think I'd prefer the safety of London here. With the guys that you have, I think I would stick with your lineup the way it is.
Yeah, I think I mean, look, you never know. Maybe Addison, London, and the Minnesota D all bust tonight, and, you lose. But you got to think Jacoby's not going to have a big game. London should be good. Addison should be good. And the Minnesota D should be good. I think you're going to make the comeback here.
Yeah, and then like you said, London more of a floor, and do feel a little bit better about them now, knowing Max Crosby is out. It's another huge loss, pass rusher. Another big injury that could impact the next couple of weeks. TJ Watt was hurt for Pittsburgh. We've seen the huge difference that makes for the Steelers. Man, all these top pass rushers are getting hurt. But you should be good. I wouldn't change it. Let's go back. Actually, let's do that was not super chat. Fat Boy Justin was on here a couple hours ago, asked this question, like to reward our early bird. So week 16. Here's the lineup mix. Hurts, Bijan, Mixon, Nico, and Puka. I was going to say Nuka. I'm thinking because I have my Fallout memorabilia here. I was thinking Nuka-Cola. Chase Brown and Gibbs. Mike Evans just on the bench.
Wow. Wow.
That's a pretty stacked team.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if I sit Mixon and put Gibbs in and then get Evans in the flex because, again, Mixon hasn't looked great lately, and now they get the Chiefs. And, okay, maybe Mahomes is hurt, but that defense is still good.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Mixon to 6. You got 2 running backs at flex. Yeah, maybe sit Mixon and go Evans.
Evans gets the Cowboys. Trayvon Diggs out. Yeah, can't bench.
Yeah, I'm with the guys. Mixon was the first name that jumped out at me. It's like, do I really want to roll with him over Chase Brown and Gibbs and leave Evans on the bench? Yeah, I think I am sitting Mixon here. I mean, all these guys are in great spots, but Mixon with a very tough matchup this week, and the Texans still continue to just look blah, anemic, feel like a one-and-done playoff team. I would go Evans over Mixon.
Yeah, their offensive line is still pretty rough, but they still managed to beat the Dolphins. At least they're in the playoffs. Not bitter. But anyways, yeah, let's do that. Let's sit Mixon and go Evans. And then before we get to Boomer, Randy Hunt just wants to say thanks to the Draft Lane app, is able to overcome a bad start to the week. That's right. See, all these teams, we talked about it Saturday, talked about it Sunday, just because you had Cooper Kupp, just because you had Jennings, etc., it's not over till it's over. So there you go.
Exactly. Maybe your opponent had Tyreek Hill or, whoever.
Waddle or Saquon or Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it seems like the end of the world. One of your best players does nothing, and then you realize that your opponent could have the exact same situation, and it just cancels it out. But really, if you have just one or two of those guys who go off, that's all
Exactly.
it takes.
That's really all fantasy football comes down to, head-to-head matchups. That's
Right.
really it. We always focus on the guys who were terrible, but really it just comes down to, did you have the 2 or 3 humongous games this week? And if you did, it probably doesn't matter what the rest of your lineup did, honestly.
Exactly. All right, Boomer. Saying he's very lucky it's a 2-week matchup. Down 20. Hey, you never know. Your kicker, he could pull a Boswell, get you like 7 field goals. Would it be closer if I didn't play Pacheco over Ladd and Bucky? Ooh.
Well, I think we told him to go Pacheco because, A, we were worried about Bucky not being healthy, and we weren't sure if Ladd was playing, and he didn't have any other pivots. So we had to told him to go with Pacheco. Did not expect Kareem Hunt to get as many carries as Isaiah Pacheco. What the heck was that?
Yeah, that backfield is suddenly one I am very nervous about now. I think, honestly, the split kind of kills the effectiveness of both guys, with Hunt and Pacheco. So I don't know if I want to start these guys going forward. But, yeah, down 20 with the kicker to go. Unfortunately, if you got a 2-week matchup, I assume that means you're also going to have to play week 18, which, yikes. But, yeah, 20 points with the kicker, you'll narrow that down. And as long as you have a good week 16, you could easily come back to win.
Exactly. And you got Ladd and Bucky healthy.
I was going to say, at least now you know you can play Ladd next week for sure. You could definitely play Bucky. But, yeah, that's the annoying thing with Ladd. I mean, you saw last week if you waited till game time to, wait out for Ladd, it didn't pay off. It burned you. So just you never know. All right. And then he will give himself some credit. At least he knew not to play Amari Cooper. So there you go.
Forget that.
Chris, you also knew Amari Cooper. You also knew to pick Davante Adams to boom. So Juice wants to know, as much as you hate to say it, and I hate it too, is Davante Adams going to be league winner just because Aaron Rodgers is going to force feed him so many targets and touchdowns?
I mean, it sure looks that way. And he gets the Rams this week, and then they get the Bills in week 17, who just in back-to-back weeks have just given up a ton of yards and points. So he might be.
Maybe, but I also don't think the Jets resemble the Rams or the Lions as far as offense goes. I think Adams will be fine this coming week, but yeah, when they play the Jets, when they play the Bills, wouldn't be too quick to put the league winner tag on him, but he's certainly a playoff run guy, that's for sure.
Yeah, if you're alive with him, which Juice, sadly, I don't think you are, probably because he was horrible most of the year. But if the teams that are alive with him, yeah, he might be one of those guys, because that's how 2024 is going to be. The guys who did nothing all year are going to show up when it matters most, and the guys who carried you all year, time to disappear.
Yeah, so the body swap here, right? It's like we've replaced your regular fantasy studs with these imitations. Let's see if anybody notices. And it's like, but Davante Adams is a guy I think you just have to start. Number one, the narrative is, Aaron Rodgers just wants to force feed him, on his way out before he leaves the Jets. He's just going to make sure he brought him over, right? He's going to make sure he gets his. But you look at the numbers, his target share is so insane. You have to keep starting him. I mean, he's getting so many targets. He is still a good receiver. I mean, it's not like maybe prime Davante Adams. He's still better than a lot of receivers in the league. So I think you just have to start him. Okay. NTY. First of all, thank you very much. Appreciate you. In the conference finals, it's a 10-team PPR. We have a defense and a quarterback question. So let's start with the defense. Chiefs, Dolphins, or the Bengals?
I'm looking. So Chiefs get Texans, Dolphins get 49ers, Bengals get Browns. I know they're a terrible defense, but man, they just came through. I think you just got to go Bengals again against the Browns. It might not. First of all, if it's Jameis Winston, that doesn't scare me, because sure, he might put up a bunch of yards and points, but he'll take a bunch of sacks and turn the ball over. And there's a real chance it's Dorian Thompson-Robinson this week. Kevin Stefanski has not committed to a starter yet. Said he won't commit till later in the week. I mean, they benched this guy. Why roll with Jameis Winston anymore? Like, you're not going anywhere. You're like, yeah, I think you just got to go Bengals here, sadly.
I agree. Bengals, I think, of a team that have as much, like, they may be ass in real life, but man, you gotta love either going up against Jameis or even better Dorian Thompson-Robinson. If they start him, I think the Bengals suddenly become a defense you need to pick up. Like, Jameis could score on you too, just as easily as he could throw picks, but Dorian Thompson-Robinson, like, what are we doing here, guys? There's no upside with this guy. We've seen him before. He's not really developing into anything. Bengals suddenly become a top defense if we see Dorian Thompson-Robinson for sure.
Yeah.
Even if it is.
Go ahead.
Well, even if it is Jameis Winston, I think I'm still starting the Bengals, even with the touchdown upside, because it could be just as many picks, if not more. So who knows? But yeah, Bengals over those two teams for sure.
And like the way I see it, it's kind of like you said, why they're going to keep rolling Winston out? To me, it's like, why are they going to put DTR out there? They already know what he is. At least see if Winston can, he can at least lead the team to score. I think the benching was temporary. That's the way I'm seeing it. See if you have something. I mean, I don't think they want him to be the starting quarterback next year necessarily, but I mean, I'm hoping it's Winston, but even if it is, either way, the Bengals are the defense you want. There are turnovers in their near future. And then Baker or Goff, who by way of, being blown out early, had a monster game, which is, it's kind of like what we were afraid of. We're like, I mean, it could turn into a shootout. It turned into a shootout. But
yep. But I think you got to go Baker this week. He also had a great game. Lions on the road against the Bears. Bucks on the road against the Cowboys. I'm going to take Baker against the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to bench a guy who threw for nearly 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, but I think you've got to here looking at the matchups. Goff on the road against the Bears, outdoors when he plays indoors. Baker getting the Cowboys here. I'm going Baker.
Right. It's not always about last week's stats. It's about next week. And the matchup, again, especially with quarterbacks and defenses, you need to play matchups. So let's go Baker. And then also he wants to know with Ertz, probably out.
Yeah.
But we're going with that tight end.
Well, I mean, it depends who's available. I mean, if somehow like Pat Freiermuth is still out there, grab him. I doubt it, though. I mean, I think the best option might be Stone Smart. He had 5 catches for 50 yards. I don't know. He might be the best option. It really depends who's out there, though.
Yeah, I mean, Freiermuth is probably gone at this point, but if he is, go get him. I like Stone Smart. He looked pretty good this week. And also another name to consider would be Brenton Strange.
Yes.
Mac Jones looked his way quite a bit. And Mac Jones has actually got, I think, a little bit of a chip on his shoulder and got something to prove. I think those 3 guys. I would not look at, I was going to say, Sinnott and Bates, I think, are the backup tight ends. Yeah, I'm not looking at Washington for replacement tight ends here. I think those 3 guys would be the guys you'd want to look at for sure.
Yeah, Strange is the one I talked about in the waiver wire video. He's the guy I would go to, assuming Muth is not available, of course. All right, and then Jay 1364 in half. Also going off with no opponent. Hey, at least that's a good sign for next week.
Right.
Rate these running backs best to worst. Sincere, Ford, Miller, Reynolds. This smells like a waiver wire question. Looking at depth on the bench.
Yeah, I'll say Ford, Miller, Sincere, Reynolds. And the only reason I put Ford ahead of Miller, even though I think Miller is a better player, is because there is a chance Alvin Kamara plays this week. There is no chance Nick Chubb is playing this week or ever again this year, at least. And he gets the Bengals. So I'll put Ford 1, Miller 2, Sincere 3. Reynolds, yeah, I'm leaving him on the waiver wire, honestly.
Yeah, Reynolds is definitely last here, but I am actually going to go in a different direction here. I'm going to take Sincere number one. Reason for that is he's the starter. Um, Ford, I've always wanted to get behind Ford, but for whatever reason, the Browns just do not commit to him. They put him on the field for maybe half the snaps, if that. I have a sneaking suspicion they are going to elevate Donta Foreman to take Nick Chubb's role. So I'm not exactly feeling warm and fuzzies about Ford. He's probably third for me. I would take Miller second because if he starts and Alvin Kamara is out, I think he would be my top guy. But Sincere would be a close second since we know he's already in that starting role. The coaches love him. Madison, we've seen all year, is just blood. The Mir Abdullah, that nice little run for him is over.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm even going to rank Reynolds. I don't think he needs to be picked up. I'm shocked. I thought I would be the highest on Sincere, and I'm not. Like, we don't know what he's going to do this week yet, but as much as I like him, I think I got to put Ford number one. And you're right, exactly what you said, Keith. I'm worried that too. They, no matter whether Nick Chubb is there or not there, they just, even last year, right? This is why it was so aggravating for Kareem Hunt to come into Cleveland. It's like they're trying to find a reason not to make him a workhorse back. And Foreman's probably going to come back off the bench and get 15 carries for absolutely no reason. But I still have to put Ford number one because he's going to still at least be the 1A, I think. But again, it's the Bengals this week. He can do something. And also he's more of a pass catching threat than these other two. So I think I still have to put Ford one, Miller two, and then Sincere. And the only reason I put Sincere third is this is the Raiders. Not a very inspiring offense. I hope Aiden O'Connell comes back next week, but also that's not a guarantee. All right, and then let's go to Michael Cazares. Needs 27.7 with London and Hawk, but Myers is on the bench.
No, I'm gonna go with London and Hawk, and this is definitely gonna be a sweat. This is gonna be an absolute sweat, Michael. Yes, feels like a true 50-50. I hope you pull it out though.
Nah, I was gonna say, I don't know if is Hawk a flex or just your tight end guy. If Hawk is a flex, I might just put Myers in there. But if Hawk is your regular tight end, then yeah, I could keep London and Hawk the way you have it. But this will definitely be a sweat no matter how you slice this. But like Chris said, I think this is 50-50 for you.
Yeah, I think you're gonna need a touchdown from somebody, and London hasn't been doing that lately, but it could happen. So you've got a shot. All right, let's get through some of these too. Tommy Talaga up 31. Still has Hawk going against Myers and Jefferson.
I mean, I think your chances are still pretty good here unless Jefferson goes nuclear, because even if we give Jefferson 20 and let's say Myers like 15, which feels high for Myers with Desmond Ridder, honestly. I mean, you only need like 4 or 5 points from Hawk. So unless Jefferson absolutely goes off, I think you'll be okay here.
Yeah, I would say your odds are probably about 66% here. Hawk, I think, gets you something between 5 and 10 points. That gives you 41. The Bears have already contained Justin Jefferson in the past, so as long as they can stick to that game plan again, I think they will keep Jefferson contained. And yeah, having Myers get 15, 20 points, that's a tough ask for Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, feel better about this than I did before Desmond Ridder was the quarterback of the Raiders. I don't think Myers has that much upside, but you should be. 31 is a pretty good margin. You should be good. Now, Rosebro has JJ, Drake London, and the Vikings. Needs 40.
I mean, you have a shot, but it's going to be a sweat because, again, I mean, I think 20 points is a big game for anybody. I mean, sure, JJ can go well over that. So, but you do have the defense as well, which helps. So, I think if I had to pick, I'd probably slightly pick your side, but it's going to be a sweat, a definite sweat here.
Yeah, I see this as a bit of a coin flip. I think JJ and Drake London can get you a safe 30 points. They could go higher. And the Vikings defense, I think, is really what this is going to come down to. If they can get a pick six or scoop and score on the Bears, and certainly a shot of that. But yeah, I think honestly, this is probably going to be about a 50-50 coin flip for you. Maybe a hair more than that. But yeah, it's going to be a sweat for you. Good luck tonight.
Yeah, well, since one of your players is JJ, I think you definitely have a shot. Pretty decent shot. Now, we don't know Juan Guerrero what the score is, but would you like better DJ Moore or Jacoby Myers is going against Addison?
Yeah, you got to go DJ Moore here.
Yeah, this would have been more of a coin flip if Aiden O'Connell was playing, but with Ritter, yeah, you got to go DJ Moore here.
Exactly. The quarterback situation is definitely in favor of DJ Moore. Okay, Corey Miller has a question, and okay, we knew this was going to happen. That Goff or Tua? That doesn't feel good. And hey, we said go Tua, go Tua. It should have been a big Tua game. It was not a big Tua game. Down by only one, thankfully, has Drake London and Aaron Jones left. Opponent only has the Falcons defense.
You're still good though. You're still gonna win this. You're good.
Thank God.
Yeah, like what if a defense manages to outscore Drake London and Aaron Jones? By God, if that ever happened to me, I think I'd quit fantasy. Good Lord. Yeah. The Falcons defense isn't going to outscore Aaron Jones and Drake London. There's no chance. You got this in the bag. Move on.
Yeah, you're good.
God, good. That alleviates a lot of the guilt from having recommended Tua.
Tua, my biggest bust of the week, Tua, without a doubt. How so bad.
Very, very bad. John Murchison is up 35 going against JJ and Aaron Jones.
Oh boy. Ooh. I reckon there's going to be a huge puddle of sweat on your couch tonight. Yeah, I'll be honest, John, I would not be feeling good. If I had to bet, I'd bet on the JJ Jones side. Doesn't mean it's going to happen because, guys bust all the time. But good luck tonight, John.
Yeah, if drink lots of water, Gatorade, you're going to be sweating a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one, I might say 40-60 because I like Aaron Jones a lot this week, but you never know. You never know. He fumbles once, he hits the bench. There you go.
True.
Gee. All right. So a couple of comments here. He says that the opponent, Jackson, Connor, Sharp, Walker, Hall. Okay, that's his opponent's team. And then his team, again, I think he just wants to show how good his team is because it's good. The question he has down below is he considering going Gibbs or Kyron over Henry because Henry has not been good and it's a bad matchup. So I guess the question is,
Gibbs over Henry easy. We have to start having to talk about Derrick Henry pretty soon. We don't have a lot of time to have to talk about it. Not only literally tonight, but there's only a couple weeks left in the fantasy season. But he hasn't scored in 3 straight games, and even this week against the Giants, I figured, it's going to be a big Henry week. They're barely going to have to throw the ball. It's going to be like Derrick Henry. No. Justice Hill got the touchdown instead. So, I would easily start Gibbs over Henry. Easily. And you might have to start Chase Brown over Kyron too. Dolphins run defense has been good.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking Henry might be your RB4 here right now because, Kyron, Gibbs, Chase Brown, they are all locked into RB1 roles. No competition in the backfield. And Henry is a guy that's he even had the formula this past week. He should have gone off. He's a guy that they generally throw in there to grind down the defense and eventually he scores. But he couldn't pull that off against the Giants. So I would be benching Henry myself here with this team for sure. Kyron, Gibbs, Chase Brown, I would take those guys all over Henry this week.
Yeah, exactly. Haven't really gone through it all, but if I had to rank them for week 16, I'd go Chase Brown 1, Gibbs 2, yeah, probably Kyron, then Henry. All right. Gin Rail is down 22. He has Myers.
Wow. You got
Bijan
Bijan
and
and Sam
Darnold. Oh,
Darnold. You got this. Like 99.9% chance.
I think the guy with going up against the with the defense remaining has a bit more of a chance here, but yeah, you should still feel pretty good here. Bijan and Darnold, 22 versus Myers. Yeah, I'm not going quite 99.9, but I think 90%.
I missed down 22 to be honest, but yeah, okay, 90%. Because like Bijan and or Darnold should erase that, and then it's just Bijan versus Myers or Darnold versus Myers, and then you win.
Yeah, you should be good. Not Bijan alone, but yeah, you should definitely be good. Cammy Cam just saying hi. She's good because going the bye week.
You got
and
Josh Allen. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
You got Josh Allen.
Josh Allen and a bye week. You lucky owner.
Yep. John, would you rather have Jerome Ford or Tyjae Spears over Ramondre, Tracy, Garendo, or Sincere? Are you dropping any of these guys?
I don't think so. Maybe over Sincere, depending on what he does tonight. Let's see how Sincere looks.
Yeah, I mean, Sincere's a definite mixed bag. Let's see how he is tonight. Tracy, though, he got vultured. He didn't have a good week. He got vultured by Singletary. Would I drop him for Ford, though? I don't think so. But if you've got these guys, I imagine you don't have to start Tracy. I would consider dropping Tracy for. I think I would honestly consider dropping Tracy for Tyjae Spears and see what happens with Tony Pollard there.
Well, yeah, if there's one, it would be Tracy because, again, it wasn't just the match. It was so aggravating. All of a sudden, Devin Singletary is just there just to steal touches from Tracy.
Yep.
So if it were me, I would pick Ford. But let's see what McCormick does tonight also. Now, John Smith just wants to express some gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you.
Always appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's help this one. Killer Kev 4201 is up by just 0.3 of a point. They have Addison. I have Bijan and Jettis.
No, I'm not benching Jefferson. I'm not benching Jefferson.
I'm trying to think. This just like, I mean, what's the play here? Like, why would switching just for London?
I don't know. In case the Bears shut down Jefferson again and Addison goes off, so you have London in there, I guess. But if Jefferson kills me, oh well, I go down with the Jefferson ship.
Yeah, this is braining yourself here. Like, I'm sure that could happen if it's a repeat of the last Bears-Vikings matchup, but I'm not making that move. Yeah, this feels like a braining yourself type of play. And if London ends up having a bad game, because Kirk Cousins hasn't exactly been lighting the world on fire either, yeah, you'll be kicking yourself. Go Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I'm just never not playing Justin Jefferson, ever. Paul P, 12-team PPR, had the bye. Very nice. So in week 16, let's check this team out. Hurts, AJB, Higgins, Henry Sharp, Sincere, and, well, RIP Monty. McBride, Jacoby, Mooney, Cooper, Moore. One of the Moores. 2 receivers, 2 flex.
I think you got to go AJB, Higgins at wide receiver. I mean, you might not be able to play Charbonnet because Kenneth Walker could be back. So you might be going Henry Sincere at running back. Yeah, I'm going to hope Aiden O'Connell is back next week. I'm not playing Amari Cooper. So I'm going to go Jacoby Mooney at the flex as we sit here right now. But there's still a lot that needs to change between now and next week to finalize this lineup, honestly.
Yeah, there's definitely quite a bit. I'd tune in later in the week for decisions because, yeah, we've got Bears and, you got a lot of Bears, a lot of Raiders here, and things could definitely change, especially with this coming week. No more Monty. Yeah, pretty much. And Moore, I'm just wondering if I'm hoping that's not David Moore, that's DJ Moore. But yeah, there's no way I could start Cooper reliably. Yeah, I would tune in later in the week.
Yeah, I don't assume it's DJ Moore. Could be Elijah Moore. Anyways,
Oh, yeah.
based on where he's ranked in this list, I'm assuming it's an Elijah Moore. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna agree with that lineup. All right, Boomer. Is this overthinking things? Benching JD because it's Philly for Love against the Saints.
Yeah, I don't think I can bench JD. I mean, we were getting questions this week like Tua or Hurts, Tua or JD, Tua or, and it's like, yeah, you just don't want to bench those guys that have that kind of upside as we saw. Like, again, if I go down with the JD ship, I go down with the JD ship. Oh well, I'm starting my best players. I'm starting my best players.
Yeah, I know Jaden Daniels struggled against Philly last time they played. But I'm not starting or benching him for Love. My expectation of that is Josh Jacobs is going to run all over the Saints, and that's going to be that. Jordan Love will maybe have to throw 10, 15 times. I'm not. Maybe it'd be worth checking the waiver wire out for other quarterbacks, but yeah, I would keep Jaden Daniels in there for sure over Love.
Yeah, not benching JD, but also not really inspired by Love. Ross Wong is up 65 going against Darnold, JJ Jones, and Swift.
Jeez.
But has Bijan.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we assume Bijan, let's say a floor of 15, that gets you up 80. I mean, he does have his QB, Jefferson, and then 2 running backs. But Swift, yeah, I think I would take your side here. I mean, unless Darnold and JJ go nuclear again, I like your side.
Yeah, I think Bijan cancels out Jones and Swift fairly easily. It's just a matter of Darnold and JJ scoring 65 here, and could they do it? Sure, but it would take a lot for that to happen. I think you should be pretty confident.
If I had to pick a side, Ross, I would take yours. Having the huge lead, of course, but also you have Bijan. Like I said, it would have to take huge. It's possible, but I would take your side. Thomas is down 35, but with Bijan and Sincere.
Ooh. I mean, this is doable, but man, this is really going to come down to like how big of a game does Bijan have, and what does McCormick give you? This is going to be a sweat, Thomas. This is pretty 50-50 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly say it's 40-60 for me. McCormick, maybe 10 points. That's asking Bijan to get you 25, and that's a tall ask. Bijan can do it. Will he? In full PPR, I think I'd go 40-60, and I'd lower that even further if it's half or less.
Yeah, exactly. I'd prefer if it was a receiver in a full PPR league. Sincere. I like Sincere. I just don't know how many catches and if he can score a touchdown. So you do have a chance, though. It's a decent chance. What about Trone now? Looking ahead, lost Monty. Was going to go JSN, who's been really solid, but now what if it's Sam Howell at quarterback? Would you go Mooney? I mean, I know it's too early to say what Geno's fate is, but thoughts here.
Yeah, I think if Geno's out, I'd probably just go Mooney. But of course, we haven't seen Mooney play tonight either, so lot could definitely change here. But if it's Sam Howell, no thank you. No thank you.
Yeah, I want no part of Sam Howell or any pass catching balls from Sam Howell. If Geno's back, I think that's a fairly reasonable pivot. Mooney's not a bad option either. I would definitely go to Mooney over JSN being fed by Sam Howell. So, yeah, I mean, at least you've got options here and halfway decent ones at that.
That's true. It could definitely be worse. Ask again later, Tron. I know you'll be on later in the week. Anyways, NTY, 10-team PPR, needs a tight end. But time to play D. It's always a good idea to play defense on the waiver wire. Pick up Ford Spears or Hill to block my competitors. But I would say only if you really think they need a running back. If they're not going to pick those guys up, or if they're just going to be bench players for them, then I don't think you really have to.
Yeah, and it's a 10-team league. I can't imagine anybody in your league is like, oh, I need to start Ford or Spears this week, and you need a tight end. Is it more important to block your opponent or not get a 0 at tight end? I'm going to go with the tight end.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, unless the guy you're going to be playing against next week has Chubb or Monty on there, I really wouldn't be worried about playing defense on there. Take care of your own team first. And then worry about your opponent. And that's if they've got guys that are going to really impact this. Like if they've lost the running back, or if they've got a guy like Kamara or a Pollard, or a guy who's fading down the stretch. But yeah, tight end is more important. Your own team is more important. I would focus on that over playing defense against your opponent on the wire.
Here you go. Chris Laborde started to split over Nick, so not a big difference. Down 31, has Bijan and London left. But the opponent has Jettis.
Yeah. Sorry, Christopher. This doesn't feel good. I mean, Tua, man. What a.
Think you have a shot? You know what? I think you might need to take a shot tonight while you're watching the games.
Yeah. Sorry, Christopher. I mean, look, I'm rooting for you. I hope somehow Bijan and London pull this off for you. You never know, but yeah.
Yeah, I need a couple London miracles myself, but yeah, I don't think your odds are good here.
All right, Thomas. Is this the same one from before? Down 30?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. All right, he had put it twice. Stephen Cotto is down 3. Going against Darnold, but has DJ Moore and Sincere. Oh, I guess we have to pick one?
Oh, well, DJ Moore, you can't expect Sam Darnold to lay a total egg. You got to think he's going to have a decent game. So you need upside here. You got to go DJ Moore.
Yeah, and plus it's PPR. You need the guy who's going to be catching passes. Sincere is not a pass-catching running back, so go DJ Moore.
Right. Mr. Jones needs JJ to go for 14.13. Do I have a shot?
I know he dropped 4.7 last time he played Chicago, but this is still Justin Jefferson. I would definitely bet on your side here.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't expect Jefferson to drop 4.7 again. I think he'll do better.
No. Wayne, London or Aaron Jones and Minnesota defense up 12 versus Darnold. So we have to pick between London or Jones?
Well, if it's full PPR, I'm going London. If it's half or none, I might go Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I was about to say the same exact thing. London gives you that pass-catching floor. Maybe Kirk Cousins finally throws a touchdown, but if it's half or less, give me Jones because, yeah, that floor is going to be a lot lower for London.
Exactly. And then Thomas, another one. I think this is a pretty quick one. A more upside, McCormick or Trey Tucker. It's not Trey Tucker.
Not Trey Tucker with Desmond Ridder. No way. No way.
Yep, McCormick it is. Trey Tucker, no thank you with Desmond Ridder.
Yeah. All right. And again, the game starts, what'd you say, a little earlier today in about 10 minutes? Is that it?
Yeah, about 10 minutes, the first game, Bears-Vikings. So we got to get these questions in quick.
All right, Keith, you ready for the lightning round experience? Strap in.
Oh.
All right. Hey, fellas. Appreciate help still alive, up by 61. Has Hawk, but opponent has Darnold and JJ. Am I good? Come on. 61.
I think you're good. Yeah, I think you're good.
Yeah, you should be very good. If you lose, that would be one of the biggest upsets that I can think of. Marcos Alvarado has actually a pair of questions. Swift or McCormick?
McCormick.
McCormick as well.
And actually, this was the same question. He just added, playoffs are on the line. Yes.
Yes, we know.
I'm going McCormick. Yes.
Yes, they are.
Glenn White is down 16. Has Aaron Jones cooked, or should I throw DJ Moore instead?
If it's full PPR, I would go DJ Moore. I think he has the upside for 16. But again, if it's half or none, I might just go Aaron Jones. Although I might still go DJ Moore.
Yeah, I think I'm going DJ Moore here, even in half. Non-PPR, I'll go Jones.
I like Aaron Jones. You don't know what you're going to get from more of the Chicago receivers, but you do need some upside. Let's go DJ Moore if it's PPR. Big Man Fishing, what is up 18 with Koo, the kicker left. Pretty sure that was your recommendation, Chris, among all the kickers. His Bowers. All right, so he's just letting us know that the sweat is already on.
Yeah, but I like your side because even if Bowers gets 18, which is a huge game for Bowers, Koo just needs to get you a point.
Yeah, Koo should get you at least, I'd say, 6. So that's 24 out of Bowers minimum. Yeah, I think you got that in the bag unless you got some tight end premium scoring going on.
Right. Steven up 88, but the opponent basically has his entire team left: Darnold, London, Odunze, TJ, and the Chicago defense.
Oh, but he's got DJ Moore and Bijan. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Yep, you're all set. And second question, Gino out. Yeah, very risky flex. He may not even be startable with Howell.
Yep, very risky.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jeff Rogers, just first question, do you believe in miracles?
Yes.
Second question is, do you think Hawk can get 30?
No. Sorry, Jeff.
I mean, I'll be praying with you because I am in the same boat in the league, but I've kind of resigned myself to defeat in that one. So I hope it happens. If whatever you pray to, I'll be praying right there with you.
There you go. Anthony just saying he needs a big game for Aaron Jones. Let's hope it happens. Good luck, Anthony. And of course,
good luck. Good luck, Anthony.
Everybody who needs anything. Let's see. A few more here. Khalil Lowe. I am down 51 with Bijan and Bowers.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. You're gonna need it. Good luck.
A lot of luck.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deficit. Dustin Forsberg managed to pull off the win despite Cooper Kupp, because there you go. You have those two guys carry you.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
Gale 07, or I don't know. Gael 07 up 38 has JJ. Opponent has Aaron Jones and Addison.
I like your chances. I definitely like your chances.
Yeah. Very good shot.
Yeah, you're up, and JJ. I think you got it. Andrew Eloy is down 16, has Bijan against Odunze and Atlanta defense.
Oh, this is going to be a very, very sweat. This is a 50-50 coin flip for me. You're going to be sweating, Andrew.
Definite 50-50 here.
Yeah. Justin just wants to know Swift and McCormick. The consensus was
McCormick.
Cody wants to know if he should pick up Ray over Jacoby tonight.
Nah, you're up by 57. Just take Jacoby will get you something. Ray might get you 0, honestly.
Yeah, like Ray's on the field, but I mean, him and Pitts feel interchangeable as far as whether or not they're the third receiving option on the team. So, yeah, I would stick with Jacoby.
Agree. Just stick with what you got. You probably don't need to worry anyway, so it doesn't matter. Let's see. Anything else for tonight? We'll do those first.
Yeah, did we? Oh, sorry. We're looking for my bad.
Quincy Davis up 27 against Jefferson and Odunze, but has Hawk.
You'll be sweating big time.
This is another sweat. It really depends on how big of a game Jefferson has and if this is an Odunze letdown or an Odunze good week.
Andrew James, Addison or more, down by 23.
Oh, man.
Oh.
I think the way Addison's been playing, you got to go Addison.
I think I'm with you, as much as I don't want to say that, but yeah, Addison has more upside and you need upside with 23 points.
Yeah, you're down 23.
Yeah, you need a huge game. Who's shown that he's done this a couple of times in the last couple of weeks? Addison has the high ceiling. Go Addison. Baytown, Jason, who's scoring more, London or Addison?
I mean, it's going to come down. Addison certainly has more upside than London. If Addison has a down game, it'll be London. But if Addison has a big game, it'll be Addison. So I'll go Addison.
Addison could get you anywhere from 5 points to 30 points, whereas London, I feel like, is a safe 15 points with not as high a ceiling. So this is pretty much that whole floor versus ceiling argument for me. If I had to put money on it, I would say London, but honestly, it's about 50-50 for me.
Yeah. All right. And by the way, here it is again. Andrew James did drop the super chat too. We appreciate you. This is technically for tonight, not a ask, but it needs less than 11 from Daniel Carlson. It's a kicker.
I mean, could a kicker get over 11? Sure. Are you cooked? Definitely not cooked.
Yeah, I feel like if the Raiders do somehow manage to make it down the field tonight, they'll be scoring, but there's also a very good chance that they have 100, 150 yards of total offense with Desmond Ridder. So I can see this going either way. Are you cooked? No, you are definitely not cooked, but you'll be sweating.
No, definitely not. I mean, good luck trying to predict kicker points, but yeah, I think you should be okay. I think so. This one, yeah, you got 2 minutes. CarCast just jumped in here. DJ Moore or Jacoby Myers?
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
Definitely Moore. There you go. Get it in there. You do have 2 minutes left. Nothing like waiting until the last minute. Don't know what that's like. Jennifer Busca needs DJ to have less than 13 playing against Uncle.
I mean, he could. He's kind of boom bust, but I don't know. I feel like he's going to have a pretty good game tonight.
Yeah, PPR 13. You'll be sweating for sure if you need less than 13.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens, but good luck either way. Sean Richardson is up 33 going against Bowers, Mooney, and the Vikings.
This is going to come down to what Mooney and Bowers do we get. This is going to be a sweat for you, Sean.
Yeah, I hope Michael Mayer comes out and has another big game and continues his breakout from last week, because if not, I think you are probably on the wrong side of a 40-60 odds here.
And then B squad for life, Aaron Jones or DJ Moore?
If it's any kind of PPR, DJ Moore. If it's Aaron Jones.
Agreed.
This might matter. Didn't say if you're up or down. I mean, if you just need to play it safe, I think you can go Aaron Jones. Don't know how safe he necessarily is, but let's just say DJ Moore. All right. I think it's almost too late for the lineup. So let's do Jenga now. Week 16 in full. Pick one. Cup, Adams, or BTJ?
Oh, my God. Only one of these guys?
The guy that you thought was going to start, or the two guys who actually went off last week?
I mean, BTJ is looking matchup proof and even quarterback proof at this point as a rookie.
And he gets the Raiders.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Adams gets the Rams. Cup gets the Jets.
Yeah,
I think I'm just going to go BTJ here.
I think I am as well. Sure, it's point chasing, but I mean, the dude's just been looking electrifying so far. If he can look that way with Mac Jones, ceiling's the limit for him.
Yeah, it's tough to sit any of those. Obviously, you do. I'll go BTJ again. I like to play the matchups. Let's go BTJ. Pick one between, well, a Seahawk, Swift, or Sincere.
I mean, if Kenneth Walker doesn't play, I'll play Charbonnet. If Walker plays, I probably just play Walker.
Yeah, I mean, unless Sincere goes off tonight, but I don't think that happens. I don't think Sincere has anywhere near the upside that even Kenneth Walker has. But yeah, you're honestly hoping that Walker sits and you get another full dose of Charbonnet.
Yeah, my worry there is Walker plays, Charbonnet plays a little bit. It's really not a good matchup. They get Minnesota next week. I mean, I don't want to be all in on Sincere, but Sincere has a really good matchup next week. If he looks good enough tonight, that might convince me to play him because they get the Jaguars. So I might be tempted to go Sincere, but let's see what happens. And then Murray or Purdy.
Oh, jeez. Purdy on the road against the Dolphins. Murray gets the Panthers, but man, he's been so bad. I might just go Purdy here. You don't have to worry about the weather in Miami. I'll just go Purdy.
Thing is the defense for Miami is pretty good. And we saw Cooper Rush just pretty much dismantle the Panthers. I think I'm taking Murray here. I think part of the reason he was not all that great this week was because, we had James Conner go electric, and also Christian Gonzalez locked down Marvin Harrison Jr. here. I'm going Murray.
I mean, between these two, I think I would go Murray. I mean, my concern is that James Conner is going to go atomic next week, but I'll go Murray. And then Richardson, Rogers available. No thanks.
Yeah.
And then let's see. No, there's a couple more, even though I know the games are starting. I want to get to a couple more here. Where was it? James, there you go. James Biggs, because it's almost 1 a.m. in London, or
Wow.
it is now. But James is a loyal viewer. Appreciate you. Had the bye. Worried about King Henry now. Okay, look, I'm probably the biggest Sincere McCormick fan. I know King Henry struggled. I don't think I can bring myself to do this, no matter what McCormick does. Oh, look, maybe if it goes for 200 yards tonight, I don't know.
If
Yeah, it would
McCormick
have
goes
to
for
be-
over
it would have-
200, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, it would have to be something crazy like that. I'm not benching Henry for Sincere McCormick.
Yeah, if McCormick gets over 200 yards or catches like anywhere from 5 to 10 passes tonight, then this becomes a little bit more of a question. But yeah, not starting McCormick over Henry. That's just going too far.
Right. But yeah, let's see. Maybe he does go for 200. Live wire. How's it going? Jennings, Metcalf, and Harrison were less than spectacular and went against Devontae Adams. So
Yeah,
that's just how it goes.
that sucks. And the
But
Bears just
in the other, so that's good.
that's good. The Bears just went 4 and out, and yes, that was correct. 4 and out.
Interesting.
So Vikings get the ball at their own 39, at the Bears 39.
Going for it on 4th down and blowing it. Good times.
But I mean, you're the Bears. Why not, right?
Right. You're playing for pride at this point.
Yeah, why
They're
not?
also the toughest division in football by far.
Yeah.
Just the way it is. But like I keep saying again, that one player wiped out 3 of your stud receivers. That's just how it goes.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if you want to help here, Keith. Brian, what's up, Brian? He says, I know I'm screwed in your sleeper redraft, but lie to him and say he's got a shot.
So this is PPR and point per first down and also tight end premium. So only half point tight end premium there. But London and Darnold. I'll lie. You have a chance.
Feel great. That wasn't a very convincing lie. Come on, we can do better.
I mean, if Darnold goes out and turns into primetime goat seeing Sam Darnold, maybe you do have a shot. I mean, it's not like he's not had a bad game this season either. So, I mean, you kind of do. I mean, and it's Justin Jefferson with Darnold. The problem is if Justin Jefferson goes off, so does Darnold. So you're really counting on Hawk over London here. And yeah, not feeling a tight end coming off of a ACL injury to outscore London.
Well, Brian, I'll give you what you want. Fan service here. You got it in the bag. I mean, there's probably no way that you won't win. You got it. So it's more than a shot. All right. And then Don just wants to say thanks. Already won both leagues. Just wants to see London rack up some more points. Good luck, everyone. Exactly. Good luck to everyone who needs anything to happen or not happen tonight. We'll see you tomorrow for the live stream. Thanks, as always, to Keith joining us on Monday night. And check out all the videos coming out for the rest of week 16 to help you keep advancing in the playoffs. All right, guys. I'll have a good evening.